We have about 6 substations that have already been completed, and we have another 3 which are nearing completion, let alone sites that we have advertised in an effort to build up more substations. The intention in doing all this is to ensure that we improve on the quality of supply that gets around this region. You may also be aware that we have shortcomings in terms of supply that gets into the western part of this country. We have 2 main lines, the Turkwel-Lessos line that brings power from Turkwel to our Lessos substation, and we have a line coming from Olkaria to Lessos, again bringing geothermal power all the way to Lessos. Whatever we get from those 2 lines is not sufficient to meet the power requirements around this region. We advertised the construction of an additional line, is known as the Narok-Bomet line, which will allow us to take additional geothermal generation through Narok-Bomet into our substation in Kisii, coming through Kisumu, which will then feed into the grid. And of course, we have another line, 400 kV line, coming from Olkaria-Lessos all the way to Tororo. We have also lined up a number of transmission lines, like for example, one coming from from Lessos going to Cabernet, from Lessos coming through Eldoret going to Kitale. We also have done another line to Iten just to gear ourselves towards the growing demand that has been experienced in this part of the region. We will continue as an organization to make sure that we prepare ourselves ahead of what the industrialists would require. At the moment, the consumption around the region is about 30 gigawatt hours on a monthly basis, but we see that growing as we have recently experienced a number of industrialists checking around with a view to setting up shops, more specifically with the coming of the industrial zone, the Eldoret industrial zone at Plateau, where we are also preparing ourselves to do a substation, 66 kV substation to serve the needs when that industrial zone becomes operational. Other than quality and quality and stable power, your other concern is around the pricing. If you look at the generation mix at the moment, we have geothermal contributing about 51-52% of our generation. We have hydros coming in at about 43%, although that is dependent on the hydrological conditions that exist within country. And obviously then, in situations where we do not generate so much from hydros, we then end up using thermals to meet that demand. When we use thermals, the cost of power goes up. There are discussions, of course, to bring that power to 9 US cents. There has been talk of 9 US cents, but the average generation cost at the moment is around 11.6 US cents. So technically then what we'll be doing is some element of subsidy